Now, here are your hosts, Hank Davis and Mello Betts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the NFL Fan Podcast. I'm your host, former professional athlete Hank Davis, and joining me as always, he is our resident professor of sports and the gambling guru himself. He's Mello Betts. How are you, Mello?
I'm really upset having a debate with one of my friends over who's the strongest superhero, and he won't agree that Aquaman is clearly the most powerful. So.
Oh, ouch. Aquaman is weak.
Hey, that's my cat right there now.
Me and Big Mike were just talking about that. It's so ironic that you bring up Aquaman. Me and Big Mike were just talking about how useless he would be in like a desert scenario.
Don't talk about my boy like that. Now, who else is smart enough to call on somebody else to do all your fighting? This dude's a genius. No?
That is true. That is true. And he's pretty cool when it is unlimited seafood night. So he's a pretty good guy in my book. Mello, are you ready to get into the news, my friend?
Can we do that, please?
It's time for the news, a roundup of all the biggest headlines.
So leading into the Super Bowl, everybody decided to take a crazy pill or something, Mello?
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, hey, this is the week I should act up. So let's start with Rob Ryan. Now, we had reported last week that he was a shoo-in to get the job for the St. Louis Rams defensive coordinator position, but Jeff Fisher determined that his addition was not a good scheme fit, according to reports. So what does that mean? Like, well, we don't want loudmouths on this team.
Loudmouth and out of control.
We're running a 1-2-1 loudmouth. I don't know. So have you heard anything about this, Mello?
I heard that it was that's the company line. It was the scheme fit, but they probably got up close and personal with him and thought, we don't need a character like that. You got young guys you're trying to shape down there and stuff, you know. He can be a little over the top, but hey, give him another 5 minutes. He'll get another opportunity.
So basically, instead of his 5 minutes to get a job, he should have said, maybe 10. Make that 10.
I say 10 on this run.
Nice. Green Bay Packers wide receiver Donald Driver, he announced that he's going to be retiring after 14 seasons.
That's a long time.
And you just don't see a guy stay with one team.
No.
You know, you don't see that. And it sounds like he's going out on his terms.
Good.
So that's the part that I'm happy for him about. But just don't get that bug and go, you know, it kind of runs through Green Bay. I'm coming back. Don't start doing that.
No, 14 years for a wide receiver, that's a long time. He's probably tired of going over the middle. And hey, who else could say they caught passes from two probably Hall of Famers there, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah, Bart Starr and Brett Favre. No, just kidding. Jokes, people. Jokes.
Oh, personal foul, man.
No, not on me.
Yeah, okay, Goodell.
I'm Brady. New rule, no personal fouls on me. Mello, let's touch bases on this stupid deer antler spray.
With deer, oh, okay.
Yeah, you know, the Ray Lewis, he allegedly was given a product back in October that we just now find out, you know, about on the week of the Super Bowl. How convenient is that? And if he's retiring, what's the point of bringing it up? Because he won't be around to be a member of the rap sheet at all.
Right. So what I mean, this is the thing is they got Radio Row set up right up there, all that media in one spot. So any story that you can pull out of your butt, you know, it gets run. Even you don't even have to bring no facts or anything, you know, just say something and it gets run.
And they said that they were literally shoving those mics in everyone's face until somebody would say something silly.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a bunch of them this week, and something needs to change about how they do the media for these big events because they wear us out. And that's one thing I hope that our listeners and subscribers don't get is worn out by us harping on one topic, you know, week after week after week of just drilling you with, aren't you sick of it yet, you know?
True that. And they're always trying to find some negative story is the thing that gets me, too. I'm sure there's some positive stories if somebody wanted to, you know, dig deep enough to find them.
Yeah. Yeah. A majority of NFL players aren't happy with the job Roger Goodell is doing as commissioner. According to a poll conducted by USA Today Sports, the newspaper polled 300 active players from December 19th to January 12th, and 61% said they disapprove of Goodell's performance. Ooh, my goodness, Mello. So this has the poll has a margin of error of plus or minus 5%. So 300 players, there's roughly, 1,700 total players,
Okay.
active roster players in the NFL. That's a pretty good sample. If you ask me, that's a pretty good sample.
It is, but I mean, in what job does everybody think that their boss is doing a great job? You know, I mean, if you look at other workplaces and stuff, do other workplaces, have you polled them? Would they say, "Oh, I think my boss has got an 80% approval rating"? I don't think so.
No, and you know, he doesn't let people run wild like they used to.
Yeah, that's the thing is that, you know, you got some people that think they're above any kind of discipline and stuff because of their pay rate. And no, there's rules. Just stay within them. You'll be fine.
At least one key NFL executive thinks play improved at the Pro Bowl this year, and that was Roger Goodell. So he said on Monday during a 1-hour question and answer session on the social network Reddit that he thought the game improved from last year when players were clearly not trying and were booed by fans in Hawaii. So he thinks it's improved. What about you, Mello?
Oh my gosh, it had nowhere to go but up. They showed some of that footage from the other year. I've seen two-hand touch practices that were more intense than that game was last year. It was just so lame. So this year, I mean, if you're threatening to take the toy away, the kids are going to act right, and that's all it was.
Before you texted me, I had my full boycott. Pro Bowl boycott was going. And you text me and you said, "Hey, they're actually playing a little bit," and I turned it on for a while.
Yeah, inquiring minds have to know. I mean, there's some assignments I don't like. I cover the Lions, you know.
Oh,
so
man. Anybody got taps?
You're gonna turn your nose up at some, but you still got to dip in there and check it out. And I checked it out, and they were playing.
Too bad I don't have taps on the sound effect machine. You're covering the Lions. Yikes. Chastising the NFL Players Association for standing in the way of testing for human growth hormone. 2 members of Congress told union head DeMaurice Smith in a letter sent Monday that they might ask players to testify before their committee. Man, Congress is big on this story. We've talked about this all season long, Mello, and it's not going to go away. What do you think is going to be the resolution to this?
Can I first say that don't they have other stuff they should be more in tune with than sports? I just don't.
We're only trillions in the hole. That's it.
Yeah.
Just trillions.
Let's worry about that stuff first. This has got to be a little ways down the priority list here. But, yeah, they're all over this. I don't know. They think if somebody's getting away with something, they got to make sure they're brought to justice, Old West style or something. I don't know what their gig is.
Uh-oh. Mello just jumped on his soapbox. Achievement unlocked. But, I hate to say this because it's going to sound really bad. But does it have something to do with they are not getting any money out?
Hey, you were the one that always told me follow the money.
They're not getting any money. There's no way we can tax that human growth hormone. We got to get that on the books somehow.
Well, it almost seems like, all right, somebody is cheating to get rich. If you're not going to get rich the right way here, we're going to punish you or something. I don't know. I don't know what they're looking for here. What's motivating them?
Lobby money? Maybe some growth hormone company will start lobbying.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know. It's got to do with something to do with money because they're just like that puppy that's got that favorite toy that they just won't let go of.
They won't eat. I mean, everything else going on around you, and you're worried about these things, really.
Yeah, it's a little bit unnecessary. We're going to head into your wheelhouse here, Mello. The Detroit Lions have attempted to improve their front office by hiring senior personnel executive Brian Xanders. Lions general manager Martin Mayhew says that he's thrilled to have a person with Xanders' work experience within their organization. So remember, Xanders was the general manager of the Denver Broncos before parting ways. With 1 year left on his contract, Xanders was hired by the Broncos as assistant GM under coach Mike Shanahan in 2008, and then was promoted to GM the following year. Mello, I dug as deep as possible. I reached out to the Lions. I reached out to people that cover them, like yourself and some of your associates, and no one can tell me who exactly hired Brian Xanders.
That's beautiful.
Should Martin Mayhew be a little bit concerned?
I think so. And to hear that your owners are in on the meeting, you know, I don't know. I think it came. My gut tells me that that move came from the top, like some other moves. But the dude that calls the real shots always covers his back, so you don't know that it's really him. But my gut tells me this was the head honcho. It had a lot to do with this.
Mello, before podcasting, I was a method actor, and that situation where it went something like this. Here's your script. You're going to walk out there and tell everybody how happy you are to have Brian Xanders, who's going to take your job after you guys
looking over
don't,
your shoulder every waking moment.
If you guys fail next year, he's going to be taking your job. And Mayhew would have said something like this.
What you talking about, huh?
He would have been a little bit disheveled. Oh, my goodness. I am going to watch that one very close. Former starting QB for the 49ers, Alex Smith, is expected to seek his release before the start of free agency. Due to earn $8.5 million in 2013 with $1 million guaranteed, now and the balance guaranteed as of April 1st, the decision would allow Smith to be a factor in the beginning of the free agent signing period. Mello, how do you think this is going to shake out for old Alex?
You know, with some of the poor quarterback play that I saw this last season, that he might be able to get a home somewhere. I mean, as a serviceable quarterback, or maybe he is on the rise. His ceiling still can get a little higher here, but as bad as some of the quarterback play was, I think I'd take him over some of these guys. Look at the quarterback play in Jacksonville for most of the year was terrible.
Yeah.
Arizona, ugh.
And, you know, we're talking about a guy who can manage games. I don't know if he's the style of quarterback that wins games for you. You know, I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just saying I don't know if he is he's that guy that you go, hey, man, we're going to lose this game if you don't do something.
Right.
I don't think that's him.
I don't know that. And the right team, you don't need that guy, really.
No, I guess you don't. But it's also a scenario where I think he's getting a lot of publicity and press that he's going to come in and save some franchise. And it wasn't that long ago that he was on the path to being on the bench permanently.
Yeah, this is true.
You know, and we're kind of losing track of that because he had such a nice start to the season. And we'll just never know what he could have done with the 49ers.
Right, if he could have gotten them there just like the kid did.
Yeah, never know. It has been reported that the Philadelphia Eagles will not decide whether to keep or release Michael Vick by February 6th. That date is important because if Vick is on the roster on February 6th, he's guaranteed $3 million of next season's $16.5 million salary. Mello, do you think Vick can thrive with the new coach and coordinators?
Yeah, if they do what you do with athletic quarterbacks and run the wide open, you know, give him some options on each play and put pressure on the defense. That's what he does best. Let him play like that. That trying to make him always stay in the pocket and stuff is just like hamstringing yourself.
Because I don't know if I would be concerned, and I don't know what their plan is. If they're going to try to bring in somebody to the draft, free agency, what kind of guy they're going to try to bring in, or do they think, hey, we've got enough to work with right here? Yeah, you know, that's the part that
Foils is the answer. Whoa, I don't know.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Well, you got a new regime, new offensive coordinator and stuff, so it's be interesting to see. But I mean, I'm just gonna say he's still got to be in the top half of the quarterbacks, I guess, or pretty close to it, I would think. If you put him in the right scheme, I think he can still thrive. The dude can always throw a ball 70 yards in the air. That's not leaving him anytime too soon, and he can always run around. So with the way they're making these offenses right around the quarterback, I don't think it'd be that hard to imagine him putting up good numbers if you cater to the things that he does best, which is, I don't know, coaching.
Reports have surfaced that Joe Flacco will likely target Drew Brees type of money in his contract talks with the Ravens. Remember, Brees signed a 5-year, $100 million contract with $40 million guaranteed. It's guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Mello, would you play? Let's be honest here, you were more sold on Flacco than I've ever been. You thought he was serviceable at least, right?
Right.
Quarterback coming right out of college. I think I'm remembering this correctly. So, in your opinion, has he shown the body of work to prove he needs that type of money?
I'm saying that these other guys are getting paid. Look at his playoff record. Look at what he's done so far in the playoffs this year with the no interceptions and the touchdown to interception ratio. He's doing everything you want. And I don't know that there's anybody in the game right now that throws a better deep ball. The dude can effortlessly flick the ball 40 yards down the field. I was watching the championship game with one of my boys, and I says, am I the only one that notices that it is no problem for this guy to chuck the ball accurately way down the field? That is a weapon right there. I think he's way undervalued. I think he's getting kind of the Eli Manning syndrome. Until he wins the Super Bowl, he is never going to get the same kind of credit because he came out of Delaware and, didn't have that big story, because it was a smaller school. He just did not come in with the same hype as some of these other guys. But if you look at the body of work, it's there, if you ask me.
Okay. You said a lot about playoffs.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
That's
you
all
kidding
there
me?
is to talk about.
Playoffs?
That's the kind of what the show is about at this point in the year.
Yeah. Either that or a bunch of stories that aren't football related.
Oh, that's not football.
Randy Moss showed that he's nothing if not confident when asked to compare himself to wide receivers past and present. I really think I'm the greatest receiver to ever play this game, Moss was quoted as saying. Mello.
I'm going to say no mas on that one.
I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I said, you know what? The only position in football that you can't dispute is wide receiver. Because I'm thinking to myself, doesn't everyone know that Jerry Rice is just, he's got the numbers, he's got the rings to prove it.
That's like universal. Everyone, it's not 99.9, it's 100% say Jerry Rice. So we got to talk about something else there, Randy.
And I'm like a guy that just picked and choose, when he wanted to play and played for 3 teams in one season and, and just has all the attitude problems and stuff. I'm sorry, but just because you could have been the best doesn't mean you are the best.
I think you nailed it right there. If he had settled down to one team or been professional in the way he moved, from one team to the next and not just jumping around like you were making the joke that he's going to play on every team during the course of one season and stuff. It was looking so bad the way he was hopping and bopping about. But he never did settle down after he, had his big days in Minnesota. He never really settled with another team and gave that full effort. And when you think about a guy like Jerry Rice that was all effort,
yep.
And had a lot of ability, but he was a hard worker too. The contrast is just too much for people to take. There's no way they can side with Moss.
Mello, shall we switch to our most popular segment of the show, That's Not Football?
Oh, yes.
That's not football. All right, this is always a pleasure to do this segment. If there was any doubt whether two-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Greg Jennings is going to be back with the Packers next season, it may have been erased Monday. Jennings' 4,788 square foot home in Wisconsin is up for sale, and he's asking for $525,000. Mello?
That's big real estate, but that's not football.
The Madden NFL 13 video game has the Baltimore Ravens beating the San Francisco 49ers 27-24, which isn't good news for the 49ers, as EA Sports has nailed 7 out of the last 9 Super Bowl sim predictions. Mello?
That's video games, guys. That's not football.
Baltimore Ravens offensive tackle Michael O'Hare hates it when people bring up anything other than football when they're interviewing him. That's why he nearly snapped when reporters asked him about his real claim to fame, which is The Blind Side, Michael Lewis's best-selling book turned into a hit movie, which he says inaccurately shows his rags to riches story.
Oh, boy.
Mello?
Hey, sorry about your luck, but that's not football.
Denver Mayor Michael Hancock finally did the right thing and made good on his debt following the Denver Broncos' loss to the Ravens earlier in the AFC divisional playoff game. Remember, Hancock said he would perform the Ray Lewis entrance dance if the Broncos lost to the Ravens. So apparently when he was practicing a few weeks ago, he supposedly injured himself and had to put it off. Mello?
That's Dancing with the Stars, baby. That's not football.
That's Donald Driver country right there. A retiring Ravens cheerleader is upset that she didn't get invited to Super Bowl 47. 23-year-old Courtney Lenz of Baltimore was a 5-year vet of the Ravens cheerleading squad, and she is the only cheerleader with more than 3 years experience that didn't receive an invite to New Orleans. She has come out and said that she thinks it ultimately had to do with her weight. Mello?
It probably did, but that's not football, baby girl.
I think Ray put the kibosh on it. He's like, there's only one retirement party here, sister.
She's trying in on his spotlight. I got you.
When it comes to wearing out your welcome with an NFL team, Terrell Owens might be an expert. Owens recently had a bit of advice for disgruntled Detroit Lions receiver Titus Young. According to the Detroit News, Owens recently said Young needs to, quote, fall in line with Detroit. Owens also said Young needs to, quote, know his role. Mello?
T.O.'s on the money for once, then. That's not football.
On Monday, a copy of Saints assistant coach Joe Flacco's December 3rd bounty appeals hearing testimony was revealed. During Flacco's testimony, he said that Williams not only offered to reward players for injuring opposing players, but he also offered to pay them if they intentionally knocked down or took out the knees of opposing coaches who were standing on the sidelines.
Oh, baby.
Mello?
The story just gets bigger and bigger, and that is not football.
A hilarious video surfaced of a 6-year-old girl crying because she wants to marry Houston Texans defensive end J.J. Watt. On Monday, Watt was made aware of the video and asked his Twitter followers to help find the little girl. On Wednesday, Watt tweeted some photos of him proposing to the 6-year-old. He said, she said yes to being my pretend wife for the day. Mello.
All I'm going to say is that is not football.
We're getting in some strange territory. Yikes.
Yikes is right.
Where did he graduate from? All right.
Oh,
Colin Kaepernick will have more on the line Sunday than just the Super Bowl. And in my opinion, something a little more important than the Super Bowl. Because if he wins the game, he will cash in on a sweet offer from one of his favorite restaurants, Red Robin Yum. They took out an ad in Thursday's San Francisco Chronicle offering the 49ers quarterback free food for life if he wins the Super Bowl.
Snap.
Dude, he's going to have like 500 yards, Mello.
I would. Shoot. Couldn't get me off the field. I'd be every play.
But that's not football. And lastly, Niners linebacker Ahmad Brooks thinks Torrey Smith's name is Joe Torre. They have good receivers. They have a good deep threat with Joe Torre. Matter of fact, he's from around my way. Shout out to Joe Torre, Brooks said. He honestly thought that his name was Joe Torre, Mello.
No, he didn't. That's not football. No, he did not. Hey, you better watch yourself. You better watch yourself. That dude gonna be by you.
Joe Torre's about to hit a home.
You'll be reading it off the back of his jersey.
Joe Torre's gonna hit a home run on you on Sunday. Oh, Mello, we haven't done this in a few weeks, and it's time for me to tell a fool to shut up.
All right, I'm sure he's got it covered.
Baltimore Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco didn't mask his feelings Monday when he was asked about the NFL's championship being decided next year at MetLife Stadium, the first outdoor Super Bowl at a cold weather site. I think it's retarded. I probably shouldn't say that. I think it's stupid, he told reporters after that. If you want a Super Bowl, put a retractable dome on your stadium. Then you can get one. Oh, my goodness. Are you kidding me? So it's okay to play regular season games in these crappy stadiums, but if you made it that far, you want to have the lap of luxury. You know what, Flacco? You might get your money, but you can also get this.
Shut up!
Thank you. What a big mouth, and what an ignorant thing to say, too.
Very much so. He should have shut up.
Yeah, he really should have shut up. Because, you don't use those words. We know that. Mello, if it wasn't for this segment, I would laugh the entire show. It's kind of the downer portion of the episode, but it has to be said.
We got to keep tabs on these guys now.
Because NFL players, I mean, where there's oxygen, there's a crime being committed. So it's time for the rap sheet.
Calling all cars, calling all cars. Be advised, we have NFL players on the loose.
Dallas Cowboys nose tackle Jay Ratliff's blood alcohol content was 0.16%, twice the legal limit, after his arrest for driving while intoxicated. What is it with them and drinking and driving and then hitting that 0.16%? What is it with that number?
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Hey, good man. Good.
Bigger numbers.
Good. More number, better. And how do you get to 0.16, dude, if you're like 300 and some pounds?
Keg stands? I don't know.
That is ridiculous, man. They need an intervention. Seriously.
Somebody.
A Florida man has pleaded guilty to a fraud charge in connection with swindling about $2.3 million from Indianapolis Colts defensive end Dwight Freeney. Michael Stern faces up to 10 years in prison when he's scheduled to be sentenced on May 6th. Prosecutors said Stern and his lover, Eva Weinberg, bilked more than $2 million from the football player via wire transfers. How shiesty do you have to do to pull that off? Shiesty you have to be. Former San Francisco 49er Kwame Harris has been charged with felony domestic violence and assault charges from an August beating involving his former boyfriend. A late April trial date is set for Harris. Seattle Seahawks linebacker Leroy Hill was arrested Tuesday after police say he assaulted his girlfriend and kept her in his home against her will.
But that's not kidnapping.
What an idiot. Former Miami Dolphins quarterback and current CBS NFL analyst Dan Marino fathered a child with a CBS Sports employee and paid her millions to keep it secret, according to the New York Post. I'd be asking for a refund because you didn't keep it secret. Gotta get that money back. I mean, you didn't keep it secret.
Oh, boy.
criminal charges won't be filed against 49ers wide receiver Michael Crabtree after an alleged sexual assault in a hotel after the team's playoff victory over the Green Bay Packers. Man, that has the making of payoff.
Sure sounds like it, but
just my opinion. Yeah, just my opinion. And lastly, the NFL, in cooperation with government authorities, announced on Thursday that it has seized a record $13.6 million in counterfeit NFL merchandise this season in a nationwide enforcement effort called Operation Red Zone. Because, forbid anybody to make money off the game. Besides,
they're not letting anybody get a dime of money that ain't theirs.
That's revenue we could have had. I'm going to hurt you people. Well, that's going to do it for the rap sheet. Mello, it's time to pick the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's right.
So,
it's time to pick 'em. Remember, picks are made for entertainment purposes only.
And like I often say, for your laughter. That's why. That's why we do this. All right. It's the San Francisco 49ers. They're going to lay 4 points to the Baltimore Ravens in Super Bowl 47. Mello, are you going first or am I going first, or are we going to do the Jerome Bettis head tails flip?
I'm picking head tails.
Head tails. Okay.
Tail heads.
Okay. Nope, you said heads. So
I love that, dude. That never gets old.
I'm going to go first then. I am taking the San Francisco 49ers. This is the team I had going to the Super Bowl for the NFC. I had them losing to the Houston Texans, which we know is incorrect, but I think they're going to win this game. And I think they're going to, win. And I want to make a prediction. I'm going to predict that David Akers makes 2 key field goals in this game.
Whoa.
And then you have, that's the redemption story. Mello, who are you going with?
Well, I have picked Baltimore, win or lose. I have picked their games right the last 4 in a row, and I believe 5 of the last 6. So wow. I will continue with Baltimore. I love them getting the points here. I think it should be a good game either way. I can see how people would think San Francisco might open up a can on them, but let's remember Atlanta jumped on them, and I think that Baltimore's plan will be to be able to go over the top, and I think they can go over the top on San Fran with some big plays.
Yes. It's hard to do inside a dome, though. Go over top of people. But, Mello, that's the team you had going to the Super Bowl from the AFC, though.
Yeah.
Isn't that ironic?
Very much so.
I had the NFC,
it's almost like
you
it
had
was
the AFC.
fixed.
Yeah, it's almost like we already read the script.
Hey, we got our hands on the NFL script. No.
So a couple of notes. 83 days left until the draft. So Mello and I want to cover the draft, but we want to do it a little different than we've done in the past. So any suggestions you guys have, just stay tuned to the end of the show and listen to the email address and phone number, voicemail number, and send those in, because I really want to get your feedback. If you want me to interview people or bring on other like fan podcasters and stuff like that, what could we do to make the draft different? So next week's show, I am going to run down, we're going to do one more show next week. I don't know if we'll do one the week after that or not, but either way, next week I'll run down all the studio upgrades that are going to happen over the course of the next few months before the draft, and kind of give you guys a peek into the future of the show.
Peekaboo.
Mello, anything else before we wrap this show up?
Can we have one of those classic imminent games here? Can we have one of those? I mean, we got all the build up, we got the Ray retirement hype going on and stuff. So can the game please live up to all this talking and hyped up mess that we've had to been forced to listen to for all this time?
I hope it does, but usually,
I really hope it does.
I mean, when's the last sporting event that actually lived up to?
I mean, I'm just saying that New England, we were texting back and forth with the New England Baltimore game. That wasn't that good of a game.
No,
I mean, I felt like Baltimore, was going to eventually start playing ball, and then when they did, and the real hitting started in the second half, and New England just, to me, didn't seem like they really were that interested in trading haymakers with them guys, really.
No, New England looks like a team on the decline, if you ask me.
You may be right.
At some key positions. Anything else, buddy?
That is all I got. That Lion deal. I mean, I don't know if there is an answer to that. If we'll ever find out who hired this guy. I just don't know how you can break a story about a new hire, but you can't say who it is for sure hired the cat. That's just amazing to me, and it's pretty funny, actually, really.
It's comical. Would you expect anything less from a city like Detroit?
No. Now that I think about it, it makes perfect sense.
He got like 50 fingers pointing in different directions. He hired him.
In a circle.
I don't care. Just as long as that Mayhew, I call him Mayhem.
Oh, that's what they got going on around there.
As long as he ends up on a stake at the end of the season, I'll be fine.
Your head on a pike.
I'll be fine. Could damage my radio show down there, though. All right. Folks, that's going to do it for this edition of the NFL Fan Podcast. It's Mello's NFL Weekly. For Mello Betts, I'm Hank Davis. We hope you guys enjoy the Super Bowl. Until next week, we're signing off.
If you have comments or feedback, you can email the guys at tprfans@yahoo.com. That's tprfans@yahoo.com, or call the voicemail line at +1 810 309 8445.